Morning, everybody. Winter has arrived. It's cold today, right, Rubes? That coat is necessary today. So, story time. The most common conversation I had during the pandemic was with businesses, let's call them more traditional businesses, that ran into issues with their supply chain and figured out very quickly when their distributors closed due to COVID that they had no channel to market. So they immediately become a panicked business and suddenly are trying to figure out what went wrong. And what went wrong was they didn't realize that they that are closest to the customer win 100% of the time. And so when they hand their baby off to a distributor or a sales agent, suddenly they are not closest to the customer. And so the number one conversation that I've been having, it continues post-COVID, but is how do I as a B2B business become a B2B2C business? And that is challenging. That is challenging on many levels. One, haven't had to do it, so you got to build a whole system and mechanism around it. That's hard. Two, customers may or may not recognize you in all of that conversation because you haven't talked to them. You've hired the sales agent, you found the distributor at a trade show, and they're in Brazil. So you built the Portuguese website, and you gave them the one-pager, and then you say, off you go, make it rain. And it didn't rain. Sunny days. Story time goes, literally talking with some colleagues about a client in a very fun business, very fun industry, who wanted to go into another market, America, and found a sales agent. And unbeknownst to that company, the sales agent was repping them and their biggest competitors. And that is uncomfortable. Let's call it uncomfortable. And so due diligence being what it should have been, it's A, is that the right approach? B, wouldn't it be better if we went into that market as a brand, as a business, and showcased ourselves to customers, and then said, hey, if you want to buy from us, buy it from these folks. They're amazing. Your sales agent. But they didn't do that. They went right to the market, they handed their baby off, and then hoped that it would grow up into a teenager. Tough spot. And so now, unscrewing that up is challenging. So A, you got to build the infrastructure to make all that work. All the B2C marketing that goes with it, all the customer data and relationship building, all that becomes a huge effort of what you should have done in the first place, which is understand that your end user and buyer is the most important person in your supply chain. And it's disingenuous to say that they didn't think about that at all. They just didn't put the systems in place to make that work. And so it's really challenging. So I guess the message today, Ruby, is I don't care what you sell. I don't care who you sell it to. I don't care why you sell it. Figure out who that end buyer is. Who is the one using your product daily? And you want to be as close and as interesting and as valuable to those humans as you can be. And yes, because of volume and scale, distributors and sales agents can make the rest of the machine work. But if the machine isn't focused on who's using the product or the service, the rest of it falls apart. And so B2B2C, if you're in a B2B business and there is somebody between you and your end user, fix it. Fix that problem, fix it today. You need to understand the implications of what it means to not have that. And you want scale, you want growth in that environment, in that ecosystem. This is where it gets way more practical. Because now you can start thinking about what matters to them. And then really, your supply chain is just that. We need to get more widgets to our distributor because we're running out, because we're selling so many of them. Don't do that. You don't do that at your own peril. Know your customers, know your end buyers, know your end users. Be very tight with them. Let your supply chain do what they're supposed to do, which is get the product to the market. And then let the market tell you how well or bad you're doing. Anyway, story time is over. It's cold. Walking and talking with Ruby.